Welcome everybody to the Swartz Center Entrepreneurship Bootcamp. We are so excited to have you with us today. This is the first glimpse of your entrepreneurial journey here at Carnegie Mellon. And we have a full agenda for you to get to see the many different programs that are available through the Swartz Center and on campus, and also from our partners in the community. The first half hour, we're going to give you a brief overview of who the Swartz Center is and what it does. And then we're going to hand it over to a group of students that are going to talk about the different programs that they've participated in. The first part of that will be a video, and the second part of that will be question and answer. At the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's a Q&A button. That Q&A button will be how you submit questions. And then we will moderate those questions and direct them to specific students to answer your questions. At 2:15, we're going to switch to the community and on-campus resources. And again, it'll be a video that introduces those programs and opportunities, and then we'll switch to Q&A. And then from 3 to 4, finally, we will have both an undergraduate session and a graduate session where you can meet fellow students and actually pitch ideas that you're working on and hopefully get off to a great start. So thank you very much for coming, and let's get started. I like to tell the story of Carnegie Mellon's entrepreneurial journey through a lens that everybody is seeing today, and that's the sort of autonomous vehicle, artificial intelligence, robotics lens. And this story is how it all started and developed and got us to the point where we're currently the #1 artificial intelligence, robotics, and autonomous vehicle university and city and region in the world today. And it all started back in the 1960s with, started back in the 1960s with the founding of artificial intelligence by two of our very, very well decorated faculty members, Herb Simon, who won the Nobel Prize, and Alan Newell, who won the Turing Award, which is the equivalent of the Nobel Prize for computer science. They worked with folks like Marvin Minsky at MIT to start to develop artificial intelligence. But it took many, many years for the infrastructure, the computing power, the bandwidth, the ability to share data, to get to a point where artificial intelligence and robotics would become real. And I think the sort of watershed event for robotics becoming real is in 1979, when there was a nuclear meltdown at 3 Mile Island just outside of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. A gentleman named Red Whitaker, who's sitting on top of the robot there, and his team had built autonomous robots that could go into places that were unsafe, that human beings didn't want to go. And they were able to participate in the stopping of the melting of the core and the cleanup that needed to happen at 3 Mile Island, saving lives from not having human beings going into the nuclear reactor. By the way, if you want to go to the Carnegie Mellon store, you can buy those shorts on the guy at the left. Just kidding, we don't have those around anymore. Robotics and artificial intelligence evolved over the next 2 decades. And I think the sort of watershed event that made it come alive again was the DARPA challenges of the mid-2000s, where DARPA put out challenges to universities and other development teams to develop autonomous vehicles. And this was done in the Mojave Desert. And in the very first challenge, Carnegie Mellon's team, led by Red Whitaker, again, the gentleman on the left, went the furthest and the fastest, but it ran out of fuel right before the time limit. So we were awarded second place. And so that motivated us to win both the next desert challenge and the urban challenge. And the team that won it was called Tartan Racing. And if you look at this picture of the people that are involved with that effort, it's the who's who of autonomous vehicles in the world. Obviously, Red Whitaker is again in the middle, right behind the eagle, but the person right to his left is Chris Urmson, who in 2009 founded Google's autonomous driving effort called Waymo. He recently left, maybe 3 years ago, to start Aurora Innovations, which is one of the leaders in autonomous vehicles today. If you go over to the far left, the gentleman in the back in the red shirts, Tony Stentz. Tony is one of the founders of Uber ATG. right in front of Tony there with the hat on and the medal is Raj Rajkumar, who started a company called Automatica, which he sold and is now part of Aptiv, one of the leading players in autonomous vehicles. Three people behind him in the very back with the blonde hair is Dave Ferguson, who started Neuro, which is another autonomous vehicle company that's doing deliveries. And I could go on and on and on. In fact, if I go to the far right and the guy in the red shirt with the hat on is Brian Selesky, who is the founder of Argo AI. And if you just think about three companies that are based on Carnegie Mellon technology that are the leaders in autonomous vehicles, Uber ATG, Argo AI, and Aurora Innovations, the three of them have raised over $7.5 billion of committed capital that is flowing into this region. And you've picked the right time to come to Carnegie Mellon because all of the great technology companies in the world are clamoring to set up offices here so that they can tap into the amazing talent at Carnegie Mellon. And that amazing talent is you. And there's going to be lots of opportunities for you to work on your own startups or to get involved with some of these larger companies that are doing innovation projects or startups that are doing really cool things as well. So the timing is right, and we're here to help you sort of get plugged in to the Swartz Center. Among the many things that we do are taking treks to the West Coast in Silicon Valley. And this is a picture from 2017. Jim Swartz is the gentleman sitting at the desk there from Accel Partners. If you don't know Accel Partners, you definitely know the companies that they've invested in. Jim is the founder of Accel Partners. They were the first institutional investors in Facebook and the first institutional investors in Slack. In 2016, Jim gave a gift to Carnegie Mellon to create the Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship, $31 million from Jim and his wife, Susan, to help take Carnegie Mellon to the next level. And as I was looking at this slide just a little bit earlier today, I noticed that a couple of the really cool startups that were started by students here at Carnegie Mellon and are raising literally hundreds of millions of dollars are here. Austin Webb is in the back, just on the left side of the screen. His head's peeking up over. He's the founder of Robotany, now called Fifth Seasons. As I switch over to the far right, there's Gautam Narang, who is the founder of Gatik, which is another autonomous vehicle company. And just a little bit to his right, I think the fifth person in is Simon Kalush, who has a company called Nimble.ai, which is revolutionizing e-commerce logistics. And he's currently raising a $50 million round. So these are people just like you who just a few short years ago were in your seats and had great ideas and are going on to do amazing things. And we've created an ecosystem that's not a one-size-fits-all. It's a journey that you can choose how you go through while you're here at Carnegie Mellon. And I'd like to show you a quick video that will help you get a quick viewpoint to that, and then we can talk about it some more.
Opportunity, it's out there. Through creativity, hard work, and soaring above the norm, you can seize it. You are an entrepreneur. Whether you're an undergrad, a graduate student, an alumnus, or a faculty member. The Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship at Carnegie Mellon University is your opportunity, your path to success, where you bring your ideas to market. Courses for credit at Carnegie Mellon are at the core of the ecosystem, supported by countless extracurricular programs, global resources, and networks that launch companies. Entrepreneurs jump into the Swartz Center ecosystem at any time to build a unique path and collide with ideas, creativity, and visionaries, also striving for success. Consider a student. While attending Entrepreneurship Bootcamp, he learns about the Swartz Center Incubator, Project Olympus, giving him the opportunity to earn a Spark grant, which provides the capital needed to launch his startup. He then becomes a Swartz Fellow, a cohort program for entrepreneur training. Or a faculty member who, through the National Science Foundation I-Corps program, discovers how to commercialize her research, which then gains recognition at Launch CMU, the Swartz Center's public entrepreneur showcase of student, alumni, faculty, and staff. At the same time, Her PhD student earns additional funding by winning the McGinnis Venture competition for CMU students and becomes an Innovation Fellow. An alum takes full advantage of the Swartz Center Connects workshops and gets mentoring from the entrepreneur in residence who suggests joining the I-Core Site program. During this program, the alum learns about the Open Field Entrepreneurs Fund, which provides seed funding to recent alumni. For every entrepreneur, every research project, every business idea, our centralized ecosystem creates unique paths to learn, network, commercialize, invest, and launch the next great startup.
The Swartz Center is a great place because with all the resources at Carnegie Mellon, it's all being put under one roof. And that's amazing. The quality programs at Carnegie Mellon, it's the people, it's the fact they interact with each other, it's the fact that there is this more community spirit here that's really important and really helpful in starting businesses.
Students and faculty are really able to come together and share their thoughts and opinions and experiences regarding entrepreneurship. Seminars that were free and open to anyone on campus was incredibly helpful to me.
Everybody has an extracurricular activity that they enjoy and that they're really passionate about, and they sort of combine their passion with their major, and that is exactly what is necessary to be a successful entrepreneur.
The Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship at Carnegie Mellon.
So thank you for checking out that quick video. What drives us every day to make this an amazing experience for you all is that we want to make Carnegie Mellon the destination of choice for entrepreneurs, students, and faculty. And truly, I like to make a joke and say this is the let's kick Stanford and MIT's asses goal. They're the benchmark. They're great universities, and we strive to be as good as those. We also want to help create great ventures like Robotni fifth season that you just saw, or Nimble.ai that we talked about. Jim Swartz is keenly wanting to do this. He wants everybody to know what a great entrepreneurial university Carnegie Mellon is. And the way that I like to think about this is we say, Harvard has Facebook, Stanford has Google, Carnegie Mellon has, fill in the blank. Maybe it's Duolingo, maybe it's fifth season Robotni. We're going to work hard to create lots of great companies, and we're excited that you're here so that we can help you build a great company. And to do that, we're going to tap into the 100,000 person living alumni network that's out there. We want every one of our alumni to either be a customer of your startup or a supplier to your startup, or to mentor you, or to be an investor in your startup. And so we have resources and connections to be able to do that. We think of entrepreneurship broadly at Carnegie Mellon. Three types, I think, capture it pretty well. It's the new startups, especially high-tech startups that we're associated with, but we also have low-tech and no-tech startups here. You don't need to be based on technology to create value for your customers. We have a concept of entrepreneurship called entrepreneurship through acquisition, where you can identify, small to medium-sized businesses that don't have transition plans at the ownership level and are looking to sell their companies. And we've had over a dozen companies bought in the last 3 years by recent CMU graduates. And then finally, even large companies like to innovate, and they're always looking to tap into the entrepreneurial mojo and talent here at Carnegie Mellon. So we have a concept called corporate startups that we'll talk with you about. And as I said, you've come to the right place. Any of the sort of rating services that are out there always put Carnegie Mellon in everybody's top 10, as you can see on the right. Crunchbase has us right in the middle. Of course, Stanford and MIT are at the top, and we're shooting to be as good as them. The PitchBook, if you look at the various ways that they evaluate startup universities, we're right there at the top 10. The Financial Times has rated us number 8 globally and 6th domestically. And many of you have looked at organizations and publications like Bloomberg Business Week and the top entrepreneurship programs that are out there. This is their top 10. And when I was looking at this list, I thought, you know what? There's math at Carnegie Mellon, right? And I'm looking at these numbers, and I look at Berkeley at number 4 at 5.61, and Carnegie Mellon at number 6 at 5.58. And I say, there's no statistical difference there. So we're going to claim that we're tied for number 4, and we're going to do that and go forward. And it's going to take your efforts to create great companies to help make us continue climbing up this ladder. We wish we were live today. These are unprecedented times, as everybody knows, but soon, very soon, we hope we'll be able to host you at the Swartz Center. We're in the new Tepper Quad building right on Forbes Avenue. The grass that comes to the front door is actually the second level. And if you walk up those steps, you can see the Swartz Center on the second floor there. So we're very easy to get to. We're 4 to 5 minute walk from engineering. We're a 30-second walk from Gates Hillman and Dual Simon. We're right across the street from Hines. The design school over in Margaret Morrison's about a 4-minute walk, so everybody can get here. We have great space for our seminars and workshops. Our clubs all meet here for their meetings. We have great event space. Everything opens up and we can hold demo days and things of that nature. We work with a lot of people in the community to do that. And we also have workspace for our startups. We have 10 startup garages and 15 dedicated tables for startups that are making good progress. And then we have additional tables for our startups that are just getting going to work at. In addition, we also have space just off campus over on Craig Street. It's called Henry Street. It's Project Olympus. So combined, we have between 10 and 15,000 square feet for startups to work. It's really interesting to see the different companies that have come out of Carnegie Mellon. And this is a picture of Matt Rogers on the left. He has an undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering and robotics and a master's degree in both of those as well. That's his partner, Tony Fidel. They started Nest Labs, which was purchased by Google about 7 years ago for $3.2 billion. But what people don't know, and we have to do a better job of telling the story, is that Matt Rogers was the tech lead on creating the first 4 iPhones, right? The most popular consumer product of all time was created by not only Matt Rogers, but a team of other Carnegie Mellon folks that worked for him. And Matt had his dream job working for Apple, but he decided that he needed to break out on his own. And he came to Carnegie Mellon in 2013 and told this story. We unfortunately didn't film it, bad news for us, but it was actually captured on film in another talk he did later that month. So I'm going to show you that video and you can get a sense of, how do you make this decision to leave the comfort of a corporate job to sort of jump out into the world and create something new and valuable. So here we go.
Talk about leaving Apple. So you have your dream job. You've been running these amazing projects for 4 or 5 years. How do you then get the confidence, the moxie, whatever, to leave that comfort and jump into this thing where you're not making any money? You're working with this guy who is this legendary guy who you respect more than anybody. But how do you jump? How do you do that?
That was a hard one. It was honestly probably the hardest decision of my life. I mean, Apple was my dream job. I was making tons of money.
Sure.
The stock was like on this, like the craziest rise of all time. And I had to do it. Like, it was one of those kind of like guttural emotional things where like I had to go do it. It was like my family told me not to do it. Like, my friends like, you think you're crazy. And I was on this killer.
And they all came to work for you.
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it was one of those like irrational decisions, but yet balanced with this enormously rational opportunity that we understood the market. We understood how we would go do it differently. Like Tony, super known quantity, like we could go raise money, get PR. Like we had all those things that you'd look for in kind of early DNA. And the only question was, could we build a team? Could we do it fast enough? Could we do it within budget? And I was like sure. I mean,
There's no one's getting paid, so that's pretty easy, right?
Yeah. Well, it costs a lot of money to build hardware. Like,
sure,
all manufacturing, prototyping is pretty expensive. And it took a lot longer than we thought. It took a lot more people than we thought.
And so did you guys, was that Tony putting in his money? Was that you guys, everybody chipping in a little bit? Or what was it?
So we basically bootstrapped ourselves.
Yeah.
Where I basically paid for the facilities and kind of some prototyping out of pocket. Tony chipped in a bunch too. And that got us enough to build some prototypes, get some ID models going.
Wow.
And we raised the Series A October 2010.
You're not Apple anymore. You don't have the leverage that you had. You can't just, where does that start? Where you've got this idea, where do you begin?
So I think it was one thing and one thing only, was relationships. So it was relationships with former employees, former classmates, former professors. It was relationships with former partners, guys like TI, guys like Samsung, people we worked with back at Apple, and who we helped build
Texas Instrument, TI.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
The guys who we made enormous businesses with.
Yeah.
And when it came down to doing this new product, we called our old team.
Yeah.
And a lot of them didn't believe in this. A lot of them, wanted to rest and invest. And some of them were like, I'm in. Like, this is just the uniquely new thing that is incredibly exciting that I'm looking for. And we built a very small, tight-knit team. And it's one of those teams where we work together, we eat together, we hang out together, we go on vacations together. It's one of those kind of solid core teams that
these are all your Apple buddies. You've been doing this with them for 4 or 5 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a mixture of kind of my old team at Apple, my old professor from CMU, and a few folks from Tony's early days at General Magic, basically 20 years earlier. So, I don't know if you guys know the history of kind of the crazy companies in Silicon Valley. So General Magic was one of the largest funded companies in the early 90s. Like, their goal was to build this, basically mobile tablet computer. It was kind of a new idea at the time. And it was like the most funded company of all time. And it had the tightest group of smart engineers ever. So basically the original Mac team was there. Andy Rubin was there. Like Tony Fadell was there, right? Like, he's basically all of the great guys, great guys in Silicon Valley all came through General Magic at the time. Wow. It was like where all the great talent was. And we basically called up all those guys who were basically interns back with Tony then, and all got them to leave their jobs. And one of the guys was a VP of Twitter. One guy was running Microsoft's user experience team for, basically their set-top boxes. And we got started. So it's kind of unlike most startup teams in that I think the average age of our team was about 40.
Yeah.
I think I was the youngest guy on the team.
Huh. And are these guys cranking like you're cranking?
Oh yeah, we were all working basically 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and it was crazy. Like, and not everyone was like living in the office. People had families, so like they go home for dinner and then come back. Wow. It was craziness. Like that first Thanksgiving, like that November, we worked that entire Thanksgiving. We took a few hours.
Thanksgiving Day.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's what it takes. I mean,
and how many of these guys stayed married, or?
Oh, they all did. They
did.
Yeah. I had to think about it for a minute. No, they all did. I think a few wives were
separated, but no one's divorced. No, I'm just kidding.
Like all the wives are pretty happy now.
Yeah.
The important thing here, and there's many messages to take out of this, but it's about relationships. And Matt talked about hiring his classmates at Apple, and then they came over to work with him at Nest Labs. His professor, Yoki Matsuoma, who's an amazing artificial intelligence professor. So she worked with him. So what we hope you can start today, especially in the last session when you get to pitch and share ideas, is start to build the relationships, to find the co-founders and the people that you can build your dreams with. There's other companies that are here in Pittsburgh as well, and we have companies all over the world, but these are ones that in the time that you're here and with us that you can interact with. Luis Von On has started a company called Recaptcha, which he sold to Google, and now has Duolingo, which is over in East Liberty. They hire lots of interns and full-time folks from Carnegie Mellon. Meredith Grelly, she created a company called Wiggle Whiskey around a story about the Whiskey Rebellion and how Pittsburgh, for many, many decades, was the leading producer of whiskey in the world. And she's created just an incredible company, and we're really honored to have her on board now as an entrepreneurship professor. And you can take classes from her. Four Moms, Henry Thorne, the guy on the right there, two degrees from Carnegie Mellon, one of the best roboticists in the whole wide world. He created Four Moms, which applied low-cost electronics and robotics to baby products. You can see their flagship product, the Mamaroo, right there. But he has created several other companies, and Henry is one of our entrepreneurs in residence, especially for electromechanical devices. So all of these folks that I just showed you who created amazing companies will be involved. They can be your mentor. Matt Rogers has mentored several of our successful entrepreneurs these last few years. He just did a fireside chat for our Venture Bridge program just a couple of weeks ago. So these are not just icons that are out there and untouchable. These are people that lean in and get involved and can help you on your journey. We also have a great team of people. Sonia, Allison, Hallie, Aaron, Alex, and Melanie are program managers for the Swartz Center. And they of the various programs that you see today, they manage them and will be there to help you. We also have a group of entrepreneurs in residence that have been out in the real world building companies, are back here, not only running various programs for us, but also being available to help you, give you feedback, get you connected to their networks, get you connected to the Carnegie Mellon networks that are out there. So hopefully you get to meet all of these folks over the next couple of weeks and months. But there's a couple of things that we wanted to point out that are really important for you to know about today. First of all, for our graduate students, we have a program called the Swartz Fellows Program. You'll hear a lot more about it today, but it's important that if you're interested in this program, you need to apply by next Thursday, September 17th. It's a program where you get to meet tons of entrepreneurs and investors. You get to interact with interdisciplinary students from across the university. I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Sean Ammirati right now to talk about another fellows program and a really new, interesting program that we're launching in the next couple of weeks that you could be interested in. Sean?
All right, thanks, Dave. So first of all, as Dave said, the first thing we wanted to talk about was a second fellowship opportunity. So in addition to the Swartz Fellows, we have a program that we call the CSL Fellows, and we do this in the fall and the spring, and we're taking applications right now for our fall cohort. So it'll be up to 4 students. There'll be 2 students working with Numo, which is PNC Bank's FinTech Accelerator, and 2 students working with Optum. If you're not familiar with Optum, it's basically the software company within United Healthcare Group, right? So United Healthcare Group is the largest insurer in the US and actually the 6th largest company in America right now. And Optum is over $100 billion software company within that. And so we're working with both of their corporate venture groups to do deal sourcing, portfolio strategy, and some market mapping and competitive analysis. And we're looking for 2 students to do that. Ideally, 1 more technical and 1 more business oriented. This is a great opportunity, I believe, for you to get some VC associate experience while in graduate school. And again, the CSL Fellows program is specifically for grad students. We may figure out a future program for undergrads, but right now this is a graduate student program only. The second program that I just wanted to mention quickly today is our Grand Challenge. And the Grand Challenge, that terminology may or may not be familiar to you if you haven't been around campus much yet, but we use the term Grand Challenge just when we're talking about kind of hackathons that are spread out over a longer period of time. And what we often do is we go to large corporations who are trying to find startups that they can work with, say, why don't you create a cash prize for the startups around business problems that you have, and we'll go source that from students, undergrad and graduate students in this case, and recent alumni as well, who can solve problems for your businesses. And Vitro is the sponsor of our Grand Challenge for the fall. Vitro is a really interesting industrial company in the innovative glass space. It has some affiliation with PPG that they were spun out of a few years ago for those of you in the region. But 5 challenges that we have there. And if you go to the Vitro Innovation Grand Challenge page, you can see more details about each of these 5 challenges. And those are in the automotive, architectural, some stuff around drones, cosmetics, and industrial byproducts. The first prize winner, and these prizes are awarded across all 5 prompts. So the first prize gets $5,000, second prize $3,000, and third prize $1,000. There's a timeline again on the Grand Challenge site that you can see about this, but this would be a program that will run through the fall, and then we will announce the winner November 12th at a large event that the Corporate Startup Lab does every year. So that you have some time to apply for. Just one note on the CSL Fellows, similar to the Swartz Fellows, we're taking applications this week. We actually need your applications for the CSL Fellows program by Friday. And you can go to corporatestartuplab.com. You'll see a link right across the top of the homepage there to apply for the CSL Fellows. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. And the grand challenges that we've had in the past have been awesome, and students form interdisciplinary teams and have a blast and win some money. So it's cool. Another big event coming up is next Tuesday, just a couple of days away. We're having the Venture Bridge Demo Day. You'll hear about the Venture Bridge program today, but this is the Swartz Center investing in Carnegie Mellon startup companies led by Carnegie Mellon founders. So you get to see some of the newest companies that are coming out of CMU. It'll be a lot of fun. Again, it's, I think, 4 p.m. Eastern time, Tuesday, the 15th. So please sign up for that. And last and certainly not least, as you can see, I'm wearing one of these May the Swartz Be With You shirts. For all of you that have attended today, we are going to give you one of the Swartz Center May the Swartz Be With You shirts. It's a playoff of Spaceballs, which was a parody of Star Wars. So it's a lot of fun. Every year we get a different color. So every year that you participate, you'll be able to get a new Swartz Be With You t-shirt. So please, we'll be sending out a notice next week when you can stop by the Swartz Center to pick yours up, and we'll have them available throughout the semester. If you're remote and aren't able to get here, we'll save one for you. But thank you very much for coming today. We're going to transition right now to the Swartz Center programs and our CMU clubs. There are 4 different CMU clubs that you can participate in. They're all doing amazing things. And with that, what we'll do is transition to a video about the programs and the clubs. And then when the video's over, we'll open it up to Q&A. Thank you. I have to unshare my screen, huh?
Hi, my name is Swartz. I'm the president of the Undergraduate Entrepreneurship Association at CMU. Like the name sounds, we do all things entrepreneurship for undergraduate students. A few things that we do throughout the year: we have startup tours that are going to be virtual, where we go to local Pittsburgh startups and tour the offices and ask questions to the engineers and the founders. We also have an Idea to Startup Bootcamp that happens in the spring that students can sign up for, where we take you from idea all the way to pitching your startup. We also have a small iFund that funds student founders, so everything from funding your domain name, legal services, and initial server costs, we'll cover that for you. Last year, we also started a really interesting interview series where we interview student founders and CMU alums that are starting startups and ask them about their experiences at CMU and starting their company. And last but not least, we run a really awesome event every year in the spring called the CMU Venture Challenge, which is a international startup pitch competition. Last year, we awarded over $20,000 in prizes for student founders from across the world that were supposed to come to Swartz Center, but it happened virtually. And they pitched their idea to a panel of judges and investors, and we were able to fund student startups. As far as my experience with the Undergraduate Entrepreneurship Association, I joined as a first-year student. I was lucky enough to be a part of the board and got to experience organizing the CMU Venture Challenge. And last year, I became the president of the organization and got to see how everything was orchestrated and how we could impact CMU students that were interested in entrepreneurship and interested in maybe starting their own startup. If you're a student that wants to get your feet wet with entrepreneurship but maybe hasn't done so in the past, or maybe you have and you don't know where to get started, the UEA is the place to go. Come to our events, participate in our competitions, and if you're ever starting a startup, we're the place to get that initial capital to get you going. And when you're ready to take a deeper dive, we'll help you connect. We'll connect you to all the resources that Swartz Center offers and all the programs and the mentors that they offer to take your idea to the next level. So if you want to learn more, you can go to ueacmu.com. You can learn more about our events, and you can contact one of our board members, and we'll be happy to talk to you and happy to answer any questions you have.
Hey everyone, I am Brian. I am a second-year MBA student and current president of GEC, or the Graduate Entrepreneurship Club. GEC is a professional club that fosters opportunities for all graduate students at CMU to develop and exercise their entrepreneurial thinking. Whatever entrepreneurship means to you, whether that is forming your own startup, joining a startup, whether you want to do venture capital, whether you want to buy your own startup, or even just infuse your life with more entrepreneurial thinking, GEC has programming for you. Now, there are 3 focus areas for us this year: network, career, and education. So for example, giving you tips on how to be an entrepreneur in whatever career path you choose is one of them. Teaching you about the different tools that you now have as a graduate student at CMU in the different areas of entrepreneurship, and most importantly, connecting you to fantastic people, both in and out of CMU, that will be able to help you on your path to entrepreneurship. For me personally, GEC has guided me on this path to understanding the world of entrepreneurship, introducing me to an angel investing group that I've been volunteering with, and I've become friends through the club with a lot of people in different schools within CMU and even outside of CMU. And we've worked on some startup competitions together, and while they're not crazy multi-million-dollar ideas now, it was really all about making the connection and the education that I got from this, and hopefully it will help me take my ideas forward, and I'll be able to have a successful startup in the future, crossing my fingers. So I expect that you'll be hearing a lot from me soon, but please reach out to me if you have any questions. I am Brian Haight, and you can find me over at cmu-gec.org.
Hi there, my name is Aaron Silverstein, and I'm from the Scotty Ventures leadership team. Scotty Ventures is the venture capital club here at Carnegie Mellon University. Our club is focused on providing real-world venture capital and entrepreneurship exposure to students potentially interested in the industry. The structure of our club is a 12-week venture academy in the fall, where first-year student analysts learn the basics of venture capital structure. Then, in the spring, we split the first-year class into internship groups, and each group is paired with a real-world venture firm for a 10 to 12-week internship program. During this time, students complete projects like deal sourcing, due diligence, modeling, market sizing, and much, much more. And the cool part is they get direct feedback from our venture partners. Also, during this time, students are able to take the internship program for credit. Scotty has been a much-needed light into the venture capital and entrepreneurship world for me. When I came into Carnegie Mellon, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But through Scotty Ventures, I really found myself on the entrepreneurship and venture capital track. I feel I've learned a tremendous amount of skills needed to enter the venture capital industry through my time in Scotty Ventures, and I felt that I've learned a lot as a leader to take going forward. If you are interested in the club, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Hi everyone, I'm the president of CMU IEA, and you can call me Tiger. CMU IEA is short for CMU US-China Innovation and Entrepreneurship Association. We are a two-sided platform that connects Chinese and American startups and scholars with industry leaders, venture capitalists, and successful entrepreneurs. We were founded back in 2012 when we held the first CMU Summit. We registered as an official CMU student organization in 2016. Our annual CMU Summit in April is a high-profile forum that gathers leading entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, and scholars from the US and China to address real-world challenges and opportunities in various technology and business fields. In addition, we provide startups with financing and talent recruitment channels, as well as mentorship programs that pair early-stage startups with seasoned entrepreneurs and investors. We also host a new venture competition during the annual conference, showcasing innovative ideas of high-potential startup teams. Aside from the annual summit, we also host smaller scale events year-round, including online fireside talks and forums, incubator tours, and global opportunities fair. Since our creation, we have influenced over 7,000 entrepreneurs and scholars worldwide, and helped over 800 promising startups in their growth. I personally joined IEA over a year ago when I was an intern at a top VC firm in China, where my mentor, a highly esteemed VC, described the CMU Summit as one of the best technology-focused entrepreneurship summit in North America. Throughout my year of work, I found that IEA is exactly what it was meant to be, a bridge that connects the best minds and greatest dreamers from China and the US. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sachi Shah and I am part of the 2019 cohort of Innovation Scholars. This year I will be a rising senior at Carnegie Mellon University and I am pursuing a self-defined major called Leadership in Creative Enterprise, and it is essentially the intersection between art, design, and business. The Innovation Scholars program is a 2-year mentorship and development program that has enabled me to bring together my passions and really explore what it means in a real world setting. It's an interdisciplinary program where I get to be surrounded by engineers and businessmen and poets, all sorts of people on an everyday basis. But together we kind of come together and see how our passions can interlink and solve a real world problem. One of the defining characteristics of my college experience is actually the entrepreneurship trip we take out to Silicon Valley. That's a part of the program. And through this trip, I was able to meet CMU's extensive network of alumni out in Silicon Valley. I was able to meet with founders across disciplines, across fields like Modzy, which was an interior design, augmented reality firm, as well as in financial services with Deserve, which is actually a company I'm currently interning with. So overall, I would say the Innovation Scholars Program enables me to feel confident in taking the leap to pursue atypical interdisciplinary intersections and kind of really figure out what it means. The Swartz Center is a bubbling place full of life, and it's the place I love to be in between classes. You go in there and you never know what's going to happen, and you have your own family with the Innovation Scholars cohort, but there's this whole other community of people there to meet. So I'm incredibly grateful for this distinct part of my college experience, and I can't wait to welcome future cohorts of the Innovation Scholars.
Hi, I'm Dan McDade. I'm a second-year MBA student at the Tepper School of Business, and I'm also one of the James R. Swartz Entrepreneurship Fellows from last year's cohort. As a Swartz Fellow, you are able to really get deeply involved in the startup, entrepreneurship, and venture capital scene here at CMU. Through the Swartz Fellowship, you are given just incredible networking and mentoring opportunities with successful venture capitalists and entrepreneurs in a wide variety of disciplines. And through these networking and mentorship opportunities, you are just really able to accelerate your entrepreneurial journey in whatever direction it may lead. Also, as a Swartz Fellow, you get an opportunity to intern with a venture-backed Silicon Valley startup so that you can see what it's like firsthand to create and run a successful high-growth company. But one of my favorite things about the Swartz Fellowship isn't just that you get to meet and learn from successful billionaire entrepreneurs, though I'll be honest, you do get to do that, which is pretty cool. But really, my favorite thing about it is that you get to meet and learn from everybody else in your cohort. Because the Swartz Fellowship brings together a diverse set of students from all different backgrounds, from engineering, from design, from business, from public policy, from social sciences, and it unites all of them along their common interest towards entrepreneurship. So as a Swartz Fellows cohort, you get to meet potential co-founders of companies, advisors, teammates, or honestly just friends that you can bounce ideas off of and get their feedback on your entrepreneurial endeavors. So I would highly recommend the Swartz Fellowship to anyone who's interested, because I really think that it's an incredible opportunity and it really helps to accelerate your entrepreneurial journey in whatever direction it may lead. And honestly, it's just a great experience that I wouldn't trade for anything.
Hi, I'm Shine Gupta, the founder and CEO of Audition Technology, and today I will be talking about the NSF I-Corps program. The National Science Foundation I-Corps site program at CMU is an extension of the national program aimed at bringing university research from bench to business. Each semester's I-Core cohort is comprised of faculty, staff, and student from various different disciplines looking to bring many different exciting new technologies to market. Participants learn the basics of entrepreneurship through regular cohort meetings as well as meetings with their entrepreneurship mentors, and as well as how to leverage CMU resources for their businesses. There's a strong emphasis on conducting customer discovery interviews throughout the entire program to clarify and validate the problems a participant's technology is aimed at solving. The program culminates in each team pitching their companies to the rest of the cohort. It should also be noted that the I-Core program allocates $2,500 to help teams with their customer discovery efforts. I-Core has provided Audition Technology with the means to boost our customer discovery. My understanding of the many problems hearing aid users face, as well as their caregivers face, broadened as a result of my customer discovery during the I-Core program. Using the I-Core funds, we were able to participate in various conferences to explore different market segments' unmet needs, including the segments of children, military personnel, and individuals with severe to profound hearing loss. We are also able to verify the market viability of some of the features that we were planning on implementing in our technology.
Hello everyone, my name is Julie Han. I am a fifth-year PhD student studying biomedical engineering at Carnegie Mellon University. And I develop a soft robotic cardiac assist device for heart failure patients. I participated in Swartz Center's Innovation Fellows program for a year, from fall 2019 through spring 2020. And I feel very lucky to have had the opportunity to be an Innovation Fellow. Innovation Fellows program provides a matching $50,000 fellowship to support entrepreneurship education during the program. When I first joined the program, I was matched with an entrepreneur in residence, or EIR, who was my mentor for a year. There are also other EIRs who are experts in the field, and they provided great connections and information that helped me answer a lot of the question marks that I had before joining the program. Innovation Fellows program is a full year-long program and thoroughly covers important topics including business modeling, customer discovery, competitive analysis, market research, how to build a team, forming strategic partnerships, forming a company, financial modeling, funding strategies, exit strategies, customer acquisition, pricing, sales, elevator pitch, product pitch, and investor pitch. These educational talks and workshops helped me to picture a clearer roadmap and timeline. If you have a question about Innovation Fellows program or student entrepreneurship in general, you can reach me at joolih@andrew.cmu.edu. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Connor Columbo, a co-founder of Savor, a B2B robotics startup focused on automating grab-and-go meal production for the food service industry. I first got my start with entrepreneurship with a different company, Otia, that I founded at a different university. And when I transferred to CMU, I had a sort of loss of direction in terms of what I really wanted to do with that startup. That wasn't until I found the Olympus program. And after meeting with its director, Kit Needham, for quite a while and dissecting the startup, I really had a much better idea of not only what I wanted to do with Otia, but what I had to do to get there. And immensely useful to that journey was not only the space that Olympus provided, which allowed a hardware startup like mine to have access to prototyping equipment 24/7, but also the Olympus office hours, which I believe are one of the most useful resources to an undergraduate entrepreneur, full stop. The program allows you to pick the brains of industry experts on anything from marketing to starting a Kickstarter for like 30 minutes and suss out not only what they've done to get where they are, but also what you should maybe do to get where you want to be. And this helped me not only to grow Otia, but also to eventually make the hardest decision an entrepreneur can make, which is to realize your business isn't going to work out the way you want to and move on. And so when I eventually ended up deciding to shut down Otia, I came into my next startup with a trove of resources and mentors and privileged knowledge on what I need to do to start a startup realistically with a small niche and then grow strategically from there into something that would be big. And so I started Savor after I met my co-founder, Emily Ellis, through the Swartz Center Innovation Scholars / Swartz Fellows program. And this program not only helped me in that it let me meet Emily, but also that it gave me access to the Swartz Center seminars in addition to the Connect seminars, which allowed me to really see the paths of industry experts and leaders and startups from industries similar to mine to completely different industries like even beauty, and really see the commonalities that a successful founder has in getting from nothing to something big. And allowing me to see these paths allowed me to have a lot more confidence in what I wanted to do and what I felt I needed to do. And so I am immensely grateful to this program. It's made a completely huge impact on my career and my education. And it's been probably the most valuable part of CMU to me as a whole.
Hi, my name is Mike Catino. I graduated from Carnegie Mellon University's Heinz College in 2019 with a master's in healthcare policy and management. During my final semester, I had a chance to take Sean Emirati's experiential learning class, Corporate Startup Lab. This class pairs CMU graduate students from across campus with corporate partners from a wide array of industries. Our team was comprised of 6 students from Tepper, Heinz, Human-Computer Interaction, and the Electrical Computer Engineering College. Working with our corporate partner Optum, we designed, built, and pitched a solution to a specific healthcare problem area. I felt that Corporate Startup Lab was the ideal blend of knowledge-based instruction, such as how to build an option gate model to determine critical checkpoints in a product's development, as well as practical application, which for us included building a prototype product using a Raspberry Pi and testing that with target users. Corporate Startup Lab was a valuable part of my CMU experience. Being able to present and propose these ideas to corporate partners gives a unique lens to anyone who is interested in innovation.
Hey everybody, my name is Nick Shariat. I just graduated from Tepper last May, and I was involved in the Corporate Startup Lab capstone experience as well as the CSL Fellows experience. Through the capstone experience, I got to lead a team of CMU designers and engineers through an applied innovation project for a very, very large local company. We worked together to come up with a new product as well as a commercialization plan for that product. And then through Corporate Startup Lab Fellows, I got paid for a semester to essentially be a VC associate for a very, very, very large healthcare company, helping them source deals, making recommendations about where to invest, and helping them expand their innovation portfolio through more inorganic means. I really had a fantastic experience, to be honest. I did not come into my MBA thinking I was going to do innovation or anything even kind of like venture related, but I was really interested in innovation, and through both of these experiences, I got to look at growth through both an organic lens and an inorganic lens. And on top of that, I got to meet people from around campus. I got to develop some more design thinking skills. I got to learn more about technology and working with engineers. I essentially was a product manager on that capstone experience. And I really just learned that you don't need a lot of really specialized skills. You don't have to be a venture buff or a startup buff to do these things. Companies need people who are willing to think creatively and are willing to lead cross-functional teams. And it added a ton of value for me and really changed what I thought I wanted to do in the future. And I'm actually planning on kind of going more into the innovation world. So I hope you enjoy. I really recommend that you partake in at least one of these experiences.
Hello everybody, my name is Joe Pugar. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Aruga Technologies, and Aruga won first place in the 2020 McGinnis Venture Competition through the Swartz Center of Entrepreneurship at Carnegie Mellon University. Aruga is an arterial implant company where we're using a nature-inspired technology platform to make these implants for patients with peripheral bypass conditions last longer and perform better than ever before. My experience with the Swartz Center of Entrepreneurship was fantastic through the McGinnis competition. Great mentorship, great resources, and I'm excited to be here today to shed my experience with you all.
Hi, my name is JJ, founder and CEO of TalkMeUp, an AI-based software company focused on communication training. I am glad that you're interested in entrepreneurship because it is a very special career path that will transform you in so many ways. And congratulations on taking the first step, signing up for the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp. Among a lot of resources you can find through the Swartz Center, I'd like to share with you my experience with the Venture Bridge program. So after I graduated from Tepper MBA program in 2018, I was enrolled in the Venture Bridge Accelerator program. TalkMeUp at that time was still at the very early stage. We had an MVP, had about 55K angel investment secured. Our main goal at that time was to iterate our product into a pilot-ready version, gauge interest and gain insights from the customers, and secure more funding. VentureBridge helped us achieve that goal in many ways and truly accelerated our growth from 0 to 1 within 10 weeks. First of all, financially, CMU invested $25K in us through VentureBridge program. We also got 25K AWS credits, which we're still using as of today, 10K legal credits, which helped us set up our legal entity and IP strategies without any hassle. Additionally, we met a lot of great mentors and peer entrepreneurs who inspired us with their invaluable insights and experience in marketing, product development, and sales. Last but not the least, the investor and customer network. We actually met one of our angel investors and early pilot customers at the demo day. Through VentureBridge, we gained a clearer view of our future growth. More importantly, we learned how to quickly grow a startup in an iterative way and find balance between being open-minded and focused. Now we are a team of 5 employees and 15 interns. We've closed our pre-seed round, won multiple competitions, got customers in both US and China. We've got a pending patent and multiple academic papers published. Now, when I look back on the summer of 2018, I'm very grateful for the VentureBridge experience. I hope you enjoy your ride in entrepreneurship and find what matters the most to you as well in your career. And someday soon, it'll be you sharing your story to inspire others. All right, take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.
I'm happy to be a part of the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp this year and to talk to you about a different path to entrepreneurship. That is, entrepreneurship through acquisitions. Back in the 1990s, I came to the Carnegie Mellon Business School, at that time called the Graduate School of Industrial Administration, because there was an entrepreneurship track and also because of the Donald Jones Center for Entrepreneurship. While here and taking an entrepreneurial class, I had to come up with a project, an entrepreneurial project. I had no idea of the next great business. So I went to Don Jones and I said, what do I do? Don said it's very simple. You find a company in the area where the owner is in their late 60s, maybe in their 70s. They're looking to retire, but they have no succession plan. He said, buy the company, grow it, and sell it. And I thought that was an excellent path to entrepreneurship. So that was my project, and after graduating, I put it into practice and bought my first company. I've done that now twice, and after doing it 2 times, I've been able to come here back to Carnegie Mellon and teach a program called Entrepreneurship Through Acquisitions. So that's why I'm happy to be here today to talk with you about your path of entrepreneurship through acquisition. I hope that it's very beneficial to you, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
You're muted, Dave.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you. We're now going to start to answer questions live in the Q&A box. We've been answering them via text type during the videos. But if you have a specific question that you want to have answered, I can direct it to any of the students and faculty that you just saw in the videos. The first question that we have right now is the Swartz Center at andrewcmu.edu, the email address that you can use that, or all of our emails are listed on the website, and you can reach out to any of the program managers or any of the EIRs directly, or you can stop by the Swartz Center at any time when we reopen. Hopefully that'll be next month, and we will get you connected with somebody that can help. Any other questions? You can look at some of the questions that were answered. A couple of times there were questions about whether the Swartz Fellows Program and the Innovation Fellows programs were the same programs. They are two separate programs. We have 3 cohort programs that are targeted at different levels of Carnegie Mellon student. The Innovation Scholars Program is for undergraduate scholars. You got to hear from Sachi Shah when she spoke about that program earlier. The Swartz Fellows is for professional masters, but we also accept PhD students into that program. And then the Innovation Fellows Program is for PhDs and postdocs. So there are 3 different groups. The groups do interact from time to time, but they all have special pieces of the program that are dedicated to them. For example, in the Innovation Fellows Program, there's a $50,000 grant to match another $50,000 from your laboratory to help fund that last year of your PhD or your postdoc year. We have a question now is, can you apply for multiple fellowships? The answer to that is yes, but not simultaneously. We have had undergraduate students who were innovation scholars who then went into graduate school and have participated in the Swartz Fellows Program. We have a couple of Swartz Fellows who started off as master students or PhD students that are going to be applying for the Innovation Fellows Program. So those are opportunities. You can't do them simultaneously, but if you're here for multiple years, you can participate in different programs. We have a question from Mike Chang. Can the CMU students at Silicon Valley participate? Absolutely. We have programs that are in person in Silicon Valley, and we also are going to be doing everything online as well. So all of the programs that we're doing fall are going to be remote. When we open up, we hope to do them in a hybrid format, part in person, part online. But any CMU campus, Silicon Valley, CMU Africa, CMU Qatar, CMU Australia, all of them are able to participate in our programs. The question from Riley is, how many ideas can you submit at a time for Project Olympus? I'm going to target that question to Kit Needham. Kit, are you available to answer that question?
I am. Just in reality, you can only work on one idea at a time, but if you want to have multiple ideas and don't know exactly which one to pursue, you can submit multiple ideas. But I will encourage you just to pick, we'll end up picking one that you'll work on.
Great, thank you, Kit. Tyler Lowe asks about the Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition program. I'm going to target that right now to Len Carrick. I don't know if Andrew Ellahorst was able to join, but Len, can you talk about the elements of the Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition program, please?
Sure. We do have a full program. It starts in the second half of hopefully your first year, where you could take a course called Entrepreneurship Alternatives, where we cover entrepreneurship through acquisition. We also talk a little bit about franchising and also social entrepreneurship. And then in Mini 1 and Mini 2 of hopefully your second year, Mini 1, we have a class which is going on right now called Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition, where it is designed to talk a little bit deeper into that track, followed by a workshop, Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition workshop in Mini 2. That's where we limit to about 10 to 12 students, where we can work really hands-on with you to work towards buying a company. And then following that is to move into the capstone project, where you can start to launch either a search fund or start to begin your search for a company, so that once you graduate, you're ready to start either looking or hopefully be in the process of closing on a business.
Yeah, and we've had several of our students raise $400,000 search funds to fund themselves through 2 years of search. We've also had students who at graduation had identified companies and bought them by the time they graduated. So, next question is from Nikhil Malik. How are the CSL fellows and this corporate startup lab different? I'm going to start with Nick to answer that, Nick, and then Sean, if you want to add on, please do.
Cool. So yes, I was both in the CSL capstone and I was a CSL fellow. So at Tepper as an MBA, you have to complete a capstone project in your second year. The CSL capstone project was that for me. What I did was I led a team. I was the only MBA on a team of CMU masters, design and engineering students. And we were tasked with coming up with a product idea and commercialization plan for some technology that a big local firm had. So kind of the end deliverable of that was a final presentation, but I was meeting with the clients every week throughout the semester. That's a class that you get credit for, and that was my capstone requirement for the degree. The CSL Fellows program was kind of like an externship that I got paid to do, where I was acting as that VC associate. So the big difference is that one is a class, one is kind of like an externship.
Thank you, Nick. Sean, do you want to add anything on to that?
No, I think that was great. I mean, the CSL Fellows stands for Corporate Startup Lab. So I think that they're kind of very similar, and it's basically the capstone, the fellowship, and then we do other things. If you want to learn more about it, just go to corporatestartuplab.com. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Okay, so there's a question from Henry Christ about programs, fellowships that happen in the spring. Almost all of our programs happen year-round. So the CSL Fellowship has two different cohorts, one in the fall, one in the spring. The Swartz Fellows and Innovation Fellows are 1 year and 2 year programs. We always say once a Swartz Fellow, always a Swartz Fellow, and the same thing with the Innovation Scholars and Innovation Fellows. The past fellows continue to participate in the programs by mentoring the new folks that are coming into the program. We have a question from Kushi. At what point in the ideation startup process should we apply for the Olympus program? Kit, would you like to answer that?
Sure. You can apply to Olympus at any time, 24/7. You can even apply after you graduate.
Great. Thank you, Kit. Raheel said we mentioned working with engineering and design students across campus while part of the corporate startup lab. Can you talk a bit more about that experience? And the answer is yes. If Nick or Michael could answer that. Michael, why don't you take a crack at that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Dave. From my experience, especially within the corporate startup lab class, it was a really great experience working across many different intersections of Carnegie Mellon. So I graduated from Heinz College in the healthcare program with my master's, but our team was made up of, I think, almost a student from every college. So the Human Computer Interaction Institute, Electrical Computer Engineering, Tepper, and design as well was in there. And so, working with all those different students really made the project come together really well. But also, it was an experience that I never had on CMU's campus before. I think you tend to be very siloed within your organization. So programs like the Swartz Institute and Corporate Startup Lab really get you out of that shell. So for me, hopefully that answers your question, but that's what this experience was made up of.
Super, thank you. We have a question from Shambhavi, I hope I pronounced that right, about, hey, we don't have concrete business ideas yet, but we want to get together and brainstorm. Brian Height, why don't you talk about Frideas, and Samarth, if you want to talk about how the undergraduate level does that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way to just ideate and throw out an idea if you're a graduate student is to come to for ideas. We have this event. It's shifting a bit because we don't want to overwhelm people with a lot of Zoom sessions, but about once a month where we get together, a whole bunch of people from within GEC. We give you the opportunity to throw out an idea that you're working on, or maybe you're not working on, and you think it would be cool to talk about. And we just use our various backgrounds to say, oh yeah, it's cool, or why don't you think about this? Or, hey, I have this person, this connection that I want to put you in touch with. And also a new thing we're doing is we're inviting experts who are either entrepreneurs or are experts in a specific area that can help weigh in or even share some of their experiences. So we just had a current student who also founded an extreme sports startup called Xpogo. He was our latest expert, and that was a fun one. So yeah, come to our next one.
Samarth, are you still on?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So at the undergraduate level, there's two main ways that you can meet your future co-founders and make friends and start a startup. We are launching our UEA official membership this year, which is an application, and it's really meant for students that are really interested in joining the UEA, getting their feet wet with entrepreneurship. We'll be doing weekly meetup sessions. You can network with the UEA board and join a community of other entrepreneurs and other like-minded undergraduate students. We're also running a student talk class, which is a STUCO that's going to occur in the spring semester. It's called Idea to Startup, where students are going to be forming teams, brainstorming different interesting startup ideas. We're going to be bringing in different speakers, and that's going to be happening in the spring. And the best place for you all to keep track of all the things that the UEA does is to go to our website at ueacmu.com. You can subscribe to our newsletter, and all that information of what I just discussed will be sent to you.
Great. Thank you, Smart. And you can always come by the Swartz Center and ask to meet with an EIR or reach out via email, and we will listen to your ideas and get you connected with people that you can take that idea further with. So that's available all the time, both at the Swartz Center and Project Olympus. We had a question from Ashley about can professionals that are not CMU students or alums join any of these programs? The answer is absolutely. Our Connects workshops, all of our events are open to the community. We partner with Innovation Works, Alpha Lab Gear all the time. They hold events here. We go to their events. So we look at this as a community. There are some programs like the fellowships and scholarship programs that you need to be a CMU student, but otherwise we have open door policy, and hopefully we can connect you with CMU folks that you can start a business with or just learn with. Their question keeps coming up about the physical spaces being open. Right now, because of COVID-19, the Swartz Center space and Project Olympus space are not open. We're hoping to reassess this at the end of September. We have to go through the Office of the Vice President of Research and apply, and we're hopeful that the COVID situation will be under control enough at Carnegie Mellon that we will be able to reopen following all of the COVID-19 guidelines around social distancing, et cetera. But we are going to send out a schedule of times that you can stop by the Swartz Center and get your t-shirt and just check it out. But we won't be open until we get that approval, hopefully in October. So we got a number of questions about what opportunities are there for CMU alum to participate in programs. JJ, since the Venture Bridge program is targeted at either graduating students or recent alum, will you answer about the Venture Bridge and how Ramesh can take advantage of that?
Yes, absolutely. So either you are a current student or you already graduate, as long as you're associated with CMU, you can definitely apply for Venture Bridge program. I know before this year, the program takes place in the Silicon Valley area. During the program, you have the opportunity to network with local entrepreneurs, either first degree connections in the CMU network, or second degrees, or even third degrees. So it's definitely a great opportunity for you to grow your business over there. This year, I heard they are hosting everything virtually, but still one of my classmates who graduated in 2018 as well, joined this year's Venture Bridge program. I heard great things from her as well.
Right. And JJ was able to have a garage in the Swartz Center as an alumnus as well. And the Project Olympus is open to alums working out of there. So there's lots of opportunities for alums to get involved. You have ability to access our EIRs, our networks, and we also have a question now that, specifically about legal issues. And I want this to be a two-part answer, one from Kit talking about smart starts and office hours, and then Reed talking about university IP versus student IP. Kit,
so we have a series of seminars and workshops. It's called Start Smart that we do jointly with the University of Pittsburgh Law School. We have it, for example, on business formation, where we will pair you up with a law student to figure out what is the best company. So we have 3 or 4 sessions each year. We also have in our office hour expert section lawyers who have signed up to give you a half hour of advice just to help give you a feel for what it is you can expect. And these are free, and it's open to the CMU community. That includes alum.
Reed, are you still with us?
Yeah, hi everybody. So I'll just add on to what Kit said, that first Smart Start event is on September 22nd, and it'll be me sort of talking about things from the university perspective, IP policy, doing licenses and so on. And then an outside attorney, more on sort of the corporate side, like how do you incorporate and what kind of employment agreements do you need and so on. I'm not sure what else you wanted me to cover, Dave.
That's good. I just wanted to, there is a distinction between faculty-based lab IP and then students owning their own ideas. And I just want to make sure that people come and say, if they're a student, can they take advantage of the technology transfer resources? And the answer is no, unfortunately. But we have connections for you in the community that we can point you to.
Yeah, just to add on to that, just a tiny bit. The CMU's IP policy says the institution owns IP when the invention is a result of research funding. So typically faculty and PhD students are paid on research grants. So the university owns their IP. Undergraduates and master's students are not paid on research grants. So the university does not own their IP.
Great. Super. Thank you, Reed, and thank you, Kit. We have 3 more questions, and then we're going to have to move to the next session. Stephanie's asking what advice entrepreneurs that want to create a product in the industry that they have no experience but a growing interest in that field. If you come, we'll try to connect you with an EIR that does have experience in that field, and then also connect you with potential mentors from that field that are part of the Carnegie Mellon network. So there's a great opportunity to learn a lot about areas that you don't have experience in by networking. We have a question from Fabian about the shirt, that they're not in town right now, and can they get their shirt? We will save the shirt from you. If you have a friend that's on campus and they can come and tell us that they're picking up the shirt for you, we'd be happy to do that. We're going to have times over the next few weeks where when the Swartz Center is not open, that you can still come and get the shirt, but we'll keep the shirt for you. Even if you're not here this semester, you come next semester, you'll be able to get it then. Question about the deferrals. We have people that are deferring their start dates, or they're taking a gap year. You can use the Swartz Center and Project Olympus to work out of during that period of time. You can attend all of our programs, whether live or in person. Once you are part of CMU, you will always be part of CMU, and we will do everything that we can to help you. And then here's our last question. I wonder if a staff intern at CMU can have access to these Swartz resources. Absolutely. If you're a staff member at the university, you have access to all of these resources. And then can international students, this is from Isa, can international students start companies in their home countries and take advantage of the Swartz Center? The short answer to that is absolutely. The circumstances are different for every situation, but please reach out to us on the website or via email, and we'll get you connected with an EIR to get you started. Okay, we're going to close the question and answer for this this session. There will be opportunities to ask more questions, but we want to transition now to run the video about other on-campus resources and partners in the community, and then we'll have a Q&A session there. And at roughly 3 o'clock, we'll again break into 2 Zoom sessions, one for undergraduates, one for graduate students to pitch their ideas. Okay, thank you. Brian, and can you please run the video? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kit Needham. I'm Director of Project Olympus, the Startup Incubator Program at CMU. I, along with Melanie Simcoe and Aaron O'Toole, help you explore the commercial potential of your startup idea. We are open to all students at any level, undergraduate, master's, and PhD, at all schools and campuses, including Qatar, Rwanda, and Silicon Valley. We support high-tech, low-tech, no-tech, social enterprises at all stages, from just an idea to having a prototype. All you have to do is fill out and send in a one-page application that can be found on our website. Once you meet with me or one of our EIRs, you're part of the program. Everyone's accepted. We aren't trying to pick winners. Our goal is to teach you the skills, methodology, and thought process on how to successfully evaluate the commercial potential of your idea and then begin to work on it. We will develop a personalized roadmap or plan for next steps depending on your current stage. So even if your idea doesn't work out, you'll know how to successfully evaluate any innovation, which will be valuable even if you go to work for a larger company. We're located a short distance off of campus, where we have co-working space, conference rooms, and event space that you can book yourself. Those who reach a certain stage can receive a Spark grant of $1,000 to $5,000. You'll also have access to advice from over 100 office hour experts in 35 different fields of expertise. You can participate in our startup job fair. You can be featured in our spring show and tell, where members of the community, press, and investors attend. We've been in business since 2007 and have helped evaluate almost 1,000 ideas. Many have gotten into Next Stage Accelerator programs, and more than $576 million of other people's money have been invested in our graduates. Lastly, we also run the National Science Foundation I-Corps program, where 15 teams each semester focus on customer discovery and communication. We also run the Innovations Fellow program, which is geared to PhD students and postdocs. We look forward to working with you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Reed McManigal. I work in the Tech Transfer Office at Carnegie Mellon, known as the Center for Technology Transfer and Enterprise Creation. In CTEC, our role is to help to manage universities' intellectual property assets and help to move those research results out to society where they can be beneficial. So to put in context what I'm going to talk about and where I work, I'll just mention quickly a brief point about our IP policy, and that is that CMU owns IP when there's been research funding leading to the invention. So typically, faculty and PhD students at a university are paid on research grants, and therefore their IP at CMU is owned by the university. Typically, undergraduates and master's students at CMU are not in research grants, and therefore we don't own their IP. So in CTEC, we focus on situations where we own the IP. My role within CTEC is as mentor in residence. So I'm there to help people who are interested in forming startup companies around university-owned IP. So I work with the other organizations that are part of this event and a broader cross-section across Pittsburgh and nationally, internationally of entrepreneurs and investors who are trying to connect with CMU startup companies. And my role is to help connect with those resources and help guide you along that path towards commercializing research through startup companies. I've been working at CMU for 14 years. I've been working in the larger ecosystem in Pittsburgh to support startup companies for about 35 years. So I look forward to a broader conversation with you today.
Hello, my name is Kelly Delaney and my pronouns are she and her. I'm the Assistant Director for Ideate, which is the Integrative Design Arts and Technology program at Carnegie Mellon. Ideate focuses on interdisciplinary collaboration, so we support the kind of experiential learning that is unique to CMU through courses, programming, and facilities. The curriculum and resources are open to students from every disciplinary background because we love it when something like a robotic art project comes out of a collaboration between a poet, a programmer, a designer, a mechanical engineer, and an entrepreneur. In my role, I work with students who are interested in taking our classes or pursuing our minors, and I'm the general point of contact for most questions related to the program. I look forward to speaking with you.
Hi, my name's Alana Diamond, and I'm Managing Director of Hardware for InnovationWorks.
Hi, I'm Jim Jen. I'm the Managing Director of Software and COO at InnovationWorks.
InnovationWorks is one of the most active early-stage investors in the United States and the #1 most active investor in the Pittsburgh region. In the next couple of minutes, Jim and I are going to tell you about the funding, programs, and resources that InnovationWorks has to help companies grow and scale. Over the last 20 years, we've invested in over 500 startups, which has resulted in over 60 exits. Those startups have gone on to raise over $2 billion in investment. Through that time, our team has learned what it takes to help companies grow in all stages, ranging from validation to repeatability to growth and eventually exit. In terms of investment, InnovationWorks provides investment for startup technology companies in 3 sectors: software, hardware robotics, and healthcare and life sciences. Our initial check sizes range from $25,000 to $150,000, depending on the stage of the company. We're able to invest up to $600,000 from our InnovationWorks fund. And we also run a venture fund called Riverfront Ventures that has the ability to invest additional capital in companies that continue to grow and scale.
In addition to our investments, we help entrepreneurs accelerate their company growth through several programs. Our Alpha Lab and Alpha Lab Gear accelerators help startups validate their initial products with the market and connect to our extensive network of mentors, investors, and fellow entrepreneurs. Our team has firsthand relationships with hundreds of investors at various stages. And a good example of this is this year's AI Robotics Venture Fair that we held in partnership with CMU, as we've done for the last 3 years. In addition to helping our companies with fundraising, we also have programs that help them in critical areas such as manufacturing, digital marketing, enterprise sales, and hiring. So in conclusion, congratulations on joining CMU, and make sure you take full advantage of all the great resources that the Swartz Center has to offer. But also stay in touch with us, as we could also show you the broader Pittsburgh ecosystem and many of the companies and startup events happening here. We've included our social media accounts that you can follow to stay up to date on the latest, and also our personal information below. Thank you for listening, and best wishes for the year ahead.
Okay, so that is a video about the other resources that are available on campus and those that are available from our community partners. The first question that was posted was, are the Innovation Works programs open and available to the international students? Alana and Jim, can you take that?
Our video is stopped.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Great.
Good. Okay. I'm sorry, you asked if it was open to the international students?
Yes, and your video's on now.
Yes, absolutely. We do require that people have permission to be in the United States. And if you're going to be paid by your company, you have to have permission for that from your visa, but we work with many international students.
Great, thank you. So can you describe a scenario where an international student graduates from Carnegie Mellon, they've applied to be in Alpha Lab Gear, and their visa status is OPT, and how that works?
So OPT is fine. You have permission for up to 2 years typically to work for another company, and that company, that's a legal question that I can't answer, but assuming that company can be a company that you have ownership in, we don't have any problem with that. Our only requirement is that you're following the laws of the United States. Jim, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you covered it well.
Have you ever provided assistance in the process by which they could gain longer visa status in the U.S.?
We've recommended attorneys who can do that. So we do know people in the community who can do that. And actually, I think even CMU has some people who can help with that. But we don't actually have legal experts who can provide that kind of guidance.
Great. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. We don't have any questions in the Q&A box, but if you're wondering how to access, we got one from Chris Murphy. Does Innovation Works ever commit $600K right off the bat, or do you need to start with an angel investment and work your way up? So,
I'll take that one. Yeah, we have the ability to invest up to $600K in a startup, but we don't commit $600K up front. We make our initial investments to be aligned with the round that the company is raising. So depending on your stage of company in the round, that initial amount could be anywhere from $25K to $150K. And we want to make sure that we have the reserves to be able to support companies as they make progress. And that's really critical now, especially as startups are relying on their current investors to be able to fund them through some of the difficult times right now with COVID, to have investors that have the ability to do follow-on funding. Our Riverfront Ventures Fund, which is a for-profit fund, our initial investments there can range from $500K to $750, but those are for companies that are raising an institutional priced round.
great. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. Thank you.
So Dave, I could just add on to the student who's here on an F1 visa. We have a Start Smart that we usually do around January, and it's entitled Starting the Business on an F1 Visa, which will give you sort of the basic parameters on what you should do and what you shouldn't do, as well as I think as Alana mentioned, we have 3 immigration attorneys who participate in our office hours section that you get a half hour for free to give you some general ideas on what you can do.
Right. And we've had many students at Carnegie Mellon that have gone through these different processes and achieved a longer term visa status, whether that's H-1B or O-1. So we really encourage you, if you want to be an entrepreneur, there are ways to do it, and we can connect you with our alumni who've been able to get through the process. In the opening remarks that we had, we showed a map of Pittsburgh where we had lots of corporate partners that are coming to Pittsburgh to get access to the talent. And we have with us Mary Beth Navarro-Serio today, who is with Philips Healthcare. Mary Beth, can you explain a little bit about how Philips works with Carnegie Mellon and the community, and what opportunities there may be from students at CMU to connect with Philips?
Sure. First of all, hello everybody, and welcome to Pittsburgh. We're really happy to have you here. As Dave mentioned, I work for Philips Healthcare. We're a division of Philips, a $19 billion global company. and we're right in your backyard. We're about a mile or less from the Swartz Center. So hopefully at some point when everybody's allowed to be back in person, some of you may have the opportunity to come and visit us. We work with Carnegie Mellon and in particular the Swartz Center for Entrepreneurship in many different ways. Over the last 5 years, we've done things like student challenges to engage student teams to really think about the ideas around customer discovery and voice of the customer. That led to a prize and actually to an idea that has been taken forward through further vetting at Phillips. We've also done and sponsored a capstone project at CSL, the Corporate Startup Lab, with Sean Amorati and his team. And the team that worked on that project for us also did a lot of due diligence and helped us to kind of sort out whether we should or should not proceed with a certain product opportunity. So that was huge value to Phillips. We have internships, we have co-op programs, and a lot of us at Phillips just come over and talk or teach classes. Many of us work with Craig Markovitz and his entrepreneurship class, which I think is an undergrad class early in the term. And all of us are available to help you in any way that we possibly can. So if there's anything that you're interested in that might be a good opportunity to talk to somebody at Phillips, our group is really in the health tech, medical device, software, and consumer tech area, and we'd be happy to help you in any way that we can.
Super. Thank you, Mary Beth. Question from Juhi Pare about where can I get more information about Ideate? And Kelly, are you still with us? Can you talk a little bit about how a student can access info on Ideate?
Hi, yes, I'm here. I'm Kelly Delaney, I'm the Assistant Director for Ideate. As I mentioned in the little video, I'm the general point of contact for any questions regarding that. So you can email me directly and I'd be happy to set up a chat with you. I believe the programmers are providing my email, but it's Kelly Dell at Andrew at Andrew.cmu.edu, whatever the email address is. You can also reach out to help@ideate.cmu.edu. That's the general contact address, and that goes to all of the staff, and so that will find its way to me pretty quickly. But yeah, I'd be happy to chat with anyone who has questions about Ideate, in particular how we are operating during COVID, since it's a little different like everything else.
Thank you so much, Kelly. We had a question about the NSF I-Corps and whether or not all members of the I-Corps team had to be CMU. Melanie, are you with us? Can you answer that?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you.
I did answer in the chat, but happy to talk more about that here too. Not all the team members need to be from CMU. In fact, we've had a good number of teams that have had members from Pitt and CMU together, which is always been really great. But the lead, if you look at the application, there is a lead person to apply, and that's either an entrepreneurial lead or a technical lead, and that person, there should be a CMU affiliate in one of those roles. So,
thank you very much, Melanie. We have a question from Dylan, who's at the CMU Silicon Valley campus, and I was asking can somebody who's not physically in Pittsburgh participate in Innovation Works programs?
So I can take that. I think that might be one of the benefits of COVID. Maybe I'll even say the few benefits of COVID. So it depends on which program, but for example, many of the programs that we run these days are virtual. So anybody from the community can participate. If you follow our websites, you'll be, you'll get information on when and where they are. And since they're virtual, you can just log in. I would say the one thing that might be tougher is our accelerator programs, the very early stage programs, because those really do have, not this cycle, but in the future, we hope again, a physical component. And there's a big cohort component to participating. So I would say, for that, you would need to be located here. But for our other programs, we're happy to have you participate virtually or not. And for example, something we do with CMU, the AI Robotics Venture Fair, where we bring in AI robotics companies who have a CMU or other affiliation and VCs, and it's typically conducted at CMU. we had hundreds of people who were from out of town who participated this year because it was all virtual.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Ilana. We have a question from Adrian Ott about, does the Swartz Center have resources to help tech and scientific students and alums apply for NSF, SIBR, and STTR grants? And Melanie, you want to take that?
Sure. We do have with some of our programs, we do have certainly with our EIR programs, our entrepreneurs and residents can help with some of those questions and the preparation. I know Reed McManigal has also resources that can help with exploring the grants. We also, here locally, we refer teams to the Small Business Development Corporation at Duquesne University. And there is a consultant there that helps with reviewing applications and making recommendations. There's also what's called the IPART, and this is all here in Pennsylvania. But that's a program in the state that you can apply to, and they will give you I think it's up to $3,000 to work with consultants on grants as well. So we have several different types of resources.
I know there have been times that we've partnered with the University of Pittsburgh Innovation Group on holding seminars, and that might be a good segue to invite Mara McFadden to speak a little bit more about LifeX, which is a life sciences incubator and accelerator that came out of the University of Pittsburgh. Mara, can you tell us a little bit about LifeX and how people can get involved if they're in the life sciences?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Dave. And for some reason, the voiceover on that video didn't come through. So I apologize you didn't get quite as much information as we hope from the video. But just to share a little bit more, LifeX is a local incubator and accelerator focused exclusively on life science companies. So anything from drugs, diagnostics, digital health, and devices are welcome in our purview. And we're open to all of the Pittsburgh region. So Carnegie Mellon, University of Pittsburgh, we have companies from both in the organization right now, and we're trying to kind of grow out our 2020 cohort. So if you have something in the life science space, we have a large and growing team of EIRs to help you out. I heard the question earlier about SBIRs. That is a service we offer. Often the NIH is a source of that funding for the life science side of the house. So we do offer assistance in writing and reviewing SBIR and STTR applications as well. If you visit our website, there's a pretty quick application there, and we're happy to talk to you. If anyone wants to reach out with me, you can reach me on my Andrew email address, Mara McFadden, and I'd be happy to talk more about the services. But yeah, anyone who's got a life science idea, we're happy to chat.
Great. Thank you, Mara. Well, we don't have any more questions as I say that, another question popped up. Does the Swartz Center have legal resources to access legal resources to help companies that have developed tech outside of the university to patent their inventions? And the answer, Andy, is what we do have is a network of attorneys in the region that specialize in intellectual property and will help you. You can start off by using our office hours with those attorneys. You'll get a half hour of free advice and help you to map out a plan of action. And I think it's always good to get a couple of points of view. So by talking to 2 or 3 of these lawyers during the office hours, you can get a sense of the plan of action and how much it's going to cost you to be able to do that. So, great question. We have another question from Nikhil. You have an idea for a tech startup. Is it better to apply for Project Olympus or do the Swartz Fellowship? Both. You can do both. You can work in Project Olympus on Henry Street. You can work at the Swartz Center in the Tepper Quad building. We're part of the same team. It doesn't matter where you work. The Swartz Fellowship is a program that is for professional masters as the target, and you can participate in that. If you have your idea, you can apply to the NSF I-Corps. You can come to all of our Connects events. Everything that you want to take advantage of, you can. So please, lean in and get involved. when we go to the sessions here at 3 o'clock, you can ask some more specific questions around that to other students that will be in each of the sessions that have taken advantage of multiple programs. Thank you, Nikhil. Okay, well, if I'll leave it open for another 30 seconds or so to see if we get more questions. Brian, if you could pop up the Zoom links for the graduate and the undergraduate sessions, that would be great for people to be able to see. So for the next session, we'll probably take a 5 or 10 minute break here, and you have to exit this Zoom meeting and jump into the Zoom meeting that fits your level of interest, either the graduate student or the undergraduate student meeting. It was a real pleasure to get to meet you all today, albeit virtually, and really, really looking forward to getting to meet you in person along those lines. I have a question now from Marvi, and if you're a high school student, can you attend the undergrad meeting? And the answer is absolutely, Marvi. Marvi's one of our local entrepreneurs. She's doing amazing things, and we're looking forward to getting involved. And we allow high school students to come to the Swartz Center and participate and sort of get prepared, and hopefully you will matriculate at Carnegie Mellon next year, and we'll get to know you even better. Okay. Thank you all again, and we'll see you in one of the sessions at 3 o'clock. Have a great day. Thank you too as well, Shambhavi. Thank you, Roshni. Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks, Mohammed. Cheers, Rahul. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, thank you, Salah. The team put a lot of hard work into it. We have amazing students, amazing alumni, amazing team members and staff. So we're really excited to get to know you all. Fu, hey Fu, how are you, buddy? Hope everything's going well.
Dave, there's one more Q&A directed to
So,
you.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was answering a text. Gavin. Absolutely, Gavin. Do you want to talk right now? If you do, you can call my cell. It's 412-260-9882. 412-260-9882. Hi, Gavin. How are you today? Doing well. Thanks for calling.